I think so.
Hey, how you doing? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, great people? Um, it's your boy AD,
And it's your girl D Gang Gang.
and we are back in full effect.
Mm-hmm.
Just coming to check with y'all and see what's happening. So, baby, you wanna?
All right.
Uh,
So just real quick, we wasn't stopping in and take no whole lot of y'all time. We just wanted to kind of pop in and let y'all know that we back at it again. We missed the home. We missed the people.
hope y'all missed us. Definitely. Just kind of stopping in and say what's happening, see what's
Mhm.
up. We've had a lot of different things that's been going on.
Yeah.
Addressing some different things. We had two times the COVID,
Yeah.
and just overcoming all of that stuff. We're just trying to get back into the swing of things, and let's see where it goes.
The last time that he and I came to you guys was probably back in like maybe July.
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, because it was a long time ago, which is cool. However, we needed that time, I think. I think that time off really kind of helped because we always want to make sure that we're bringing authentic stuff to the table. And so really, sometimes you can get a little lost in the sauce with marriage. And I'm sure that we're not alone in that way. That
Hmm.
sometimes it just gets a little tough between work and kids and life. Just trying to find that balance. And yeah, kind of like where we've been at, trying to find that balance
Yeah, life is definitely capable of throwing you some curveballs,
for sure.
and you just gotta kind of go with the shit. So, that's just what it is.
You either go with the shit or get hit by the shit. So
I don't want to get shit. I don't want to
mm,
get hit. Shit.
at
But
all.
yeah. So
At
we
all.
are here today. We're gathered here today in front of this lovely camera to share with you once again our ideologies about uh, the. I want to say it properly.
What you want to say properly?
The blueprint to uh, making making shit work.
Yeah, making it work.
Um, I guess that's the easiest way to say it.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Not really sure what to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, none of this is rehearsed or practiced or whatever. I really didn't even know we was doing this,
Mm-hmm.
but here we are, and so we shall.
Not for nothing though. Since we've kind of like been behind the scenes, there's been a lot of different things that we've been working on that we're still working on because we always working on something. But now, it's more than just he and I that are working on things.
Hmm.
Now the kids are crazy busy and all in a good way.
Yeah.
We both have experienced loss. We both have experienced loss, and 2021 is just an extension of 2020, and it has been so full of ups and downs, right? My mom said to me today, like, man, death is everywhere right now. It just needs to be kind of moving around, but in order for things to grow, some things have to die. In order for you to change, you have to shed some things. So I assume that that's just kind of the natural order of life. It may be tough, but that's just kind of how that works.
Yeah, well, that's a hell of a way to put it. I guess I can understand where you're coming from. I'm just a little bit more mindful of how I uh, let things affect me when it comes down to certain things like that. I lost two cousins um, within the same week. May was a very tough month for me. I lost like uh, seven family members
Back to back.
in the course of the entire month,
Yeah, back to
and
back.
I was only able to actually farewell two of them due to the amount of work that I was uh, responsible for. So, um, death for me is just kind of like it's the inevitable. But I try not to really dwell on it. But I'm also a person that gratefully has not had to. experienced the traumatic losses. I think the last most traumatic loss that I've actually a life changing event as far as death was concerned was my great grandmother passed away. And
Marcus.
oh yeah, well yeah,
Marcus was
Marcus
tough.
and Trappy,
Yeah.
definitely.
Tough
So
and unexpected.
um yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely that's true.
Yeah.
And
You block it out like a trauma, a serious trauma.
yeah, I mean I really don't. I know that they're not here anymore,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's just kind of like I don't go over there because I don't have time to be emotional.
Right.
Um, I try to mind myself. Even when I do get a little emotional, I try to mind myself because I'm very passionate,
Mhm, you are
as
very
my
passionate.
mother-in-law would say. Um, so I try
You
not to
are.
show exhibit that passion and have it where it's wasted.
Yeah.
I much prefer to be passionate in a passionate fashion with things that are in need of that sort of emotion.
Emotion and expression.
Oh,
Because it's not
definitely.
necessarily emotion when you become passionate. It's
Oh
more
no,
of a
it's
form of
inertia. Yeah.
it's more of a form of expression. That's why I've never really taken your passion to be um a negative thing. That's your way of expression. You know what I'm saying? But you are also a very creative individual. You know what I'm saying? Very right brained. So because of that, your expression, you were an artist, you were a rapper. So that's the way that you kind of express yourself in that fashion. I never took it to be a negative thing. I could always kind of see through the way that you were communicating it to understand what it was that you were saying.
I haven't been able to speak to the way that I communicated. So I'm grateful that you've been able to speak to the way that I communicated because sometimes I just see blood, guts, guns, knives,
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
I would set the shit on fire. But outside of that, it's just all pretty much, um, you know, joy and happiness. I smile and not run out of smiles. So
Well,
most definitely, considerate to the fact that people deal with death differently, and we've been dealing with some.
yeah.
And I don't. I have my siblings, thank God. I have my parents, thank God. I still have two grandmothers. I have three grandfathers.
Blessed,
So it's
blessed in abundance.
yeah. So
That's
and I frequently communicate with
all
all
of
of them.
them. I
You know what
think
I'm
it's
saying?
crazy
Yeah.
though. That's
So
kind of like in addition to that balance that we have where people are like you guys are so different, right? But I don't have any grandparents left.
because of the boxes and not preached. That's it.
Technically, you wear boxer briefs, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, um, he has three grandfathers and two grandmothers that are still living,
Yeah.
and I don't have any grandparents that are still living, and I've already experienced a loss of
Well,
parents,
my two grandfathers and my great grandfather.
which is still
And
an amazing
yeah,
thing.
because my great grandfather is 96 years old,
Yeah.
and
Um.
my grandfather just celebrated his 80th, 70,
Oh yeah. 79,
78, 79,
something like
he's
that.
somewhere, one within there. And
Close to 80.
yeah, 'cause he keeps telling us that he's 39, so he could
Yeah.
be 79.
Yeah. He ain't a day over 39.
And
That
then
was-
correct, and then good old Norman Lee
Mhm.
is 66.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sounds about right. For now.
so those are the grandfathers,
Well,
and then I have my mother, my father, and I still have both of their mothers.
and he has all of his biological siblings. All of them, even the ones that he likes and the ones that he don't like. He has them
Correct.
all. Which
Unfortunately, the ones that I don't like are still here as well.
he has no idea that it's a fortunate situation, whether you
That's
like them
right.
or don't
Or
like them.
mangina and punctuation.
It doesn't matter. The fact that you still have them is a blessing because that's kind of where we differ in as far as grief goes because I've experienced the loss of my grandparents. I've experienced the loss of now a parent. I've experienced the loss of a sibling. And I understand on a different level, should I say, how delicate life is, life and death. That kind of, you just don't know when or how or or what, and living life without regrets is not a matter of doing things that you could regret. It's about really appreciating people in that day, in that moment, during that time. And even if you choose to not continue to deal with a person, because sometimes people are just toxic and you just can't. You know what I'm saying? Like you can try all you want to, but sometimes you just can't. And if that's the case, then that's cool. But you just have to recognize it for it being that and separate yourself. Not on an ill note. You know what I'm saying? Not where there's no beef or no negative. Just say, you know what, this is not healthy for me, and I'm gonna not.
I just say fuck 'em.
And he does.
And
We
that'd
know
be
it.
it. You know, pretty much even the situation. If I say fuck that, that's it. I'm not even gonna whatever. Cause and then people like to go backwards in conversation. Oh well, this and that. Something you might never get closure.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable with that. When I came to the understanding that sometimes you can't peel the scabs to pick at wounds, you need to just kind of let them heal. If you remove the band-aid and you let it go, it'll you know disappear. It'll
Yeah.
do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And if you can move forward, then you can. If you can't, then so be it.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
I think that a lot of people in general, it has nothing to do with age, but a lot of people struggle with um, acceptance. You know what I'm saying? Accountability, responsibility, because all of those things are very different.
Yep.
And I may be in a bad situation, but I have to be accountable for the role that I played to be in that situation, good, bad, or indifferent. And a lot of people, it doesn't matter age or race or anything, especially in this society, have a hard time accepting the role that they play, even to get themselves in bad situations or uncomfortable situations. And so it causes a lot of distaste and toxicity because you're not able to accept the role that you play. You're not able to even truly apologize or accept an apology because you're not understanding the role that the other person plays as well as the role that you play. So,
Well, accountability is something that I think we need to emphasize a lot more on, particularly as a people. Um, and if we do so, then we actually get it where it's, we get it. You understand what I'm
we get
saying?
it
Where
to
we
make
actually,
sense
yeah, get it to
because
make
those
sense. Where we can
conversations
bring those conversations home.
a couple months ago we had a conversation and I asked him something and he responded and his response to me in that moment was so much more in depth than any other time that we had a very similar conversation. It was because in that moment I was willing to be accountable and not listen for the sake of a response, but truly listen to understand. And it was in that moment, and it was like nothing that he had said I hadn't heard before, but it sounded so different because I was willing to accept the role that I had played. And ever since then, I don't know how he feels about it, but I feel like I've been able to communicate with him in such a different fashion because I can acknowledge genuinely, truly, in the core of me, the role that I've played in getting us where we
Well, kudos to you.
are. I'm
Kudos to
trying.
you.
I don't think I'm done at all, but a start is a start. The first step is acknowledging, and the second step is doing something about what you've acknowledged. And so that's kind of where I am. I really just want to continue to work towards not being the same person.
Me, I'm just chilling. I mean, like, I'm just chilling. I'm grateful for life, health, and strength. I'm grateful for understanding, opportunity, and I'm just trying to make it work. I have no ill intention. I have no negative dissertation. I don't really even have, I'm a slick mouth smart ass, but I got nothing negative to say. I'm just really just chilling. Like, I mean, I'm just at this point in phase in my life, I'm seeking um, a greater understanding of me and my purpose. And I only check for me. I only analyze me. Recently, I've had some conversations with some people that are dear to me, and I've shared my input when it comes down to their association or their the lack of order in certain things and different things of that nature, and they completely just disregarded it. So at all I can say is okay. Well, I mean, it is what it is. If that's where you're comfortable, if you're satisfied with what you're getting out of, what I'm saying, the legwork and effort that you're putting in, and who am I to judge you? I'm not saying that this I don't like this and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm saying, well, cause and effect. For every action there's a reaction. This is what you're doing, and this is the
This
response
is what
that
you're
you're getting.
getting.
This is the result. So stop doing that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it doesn't matter whether you're an adult, young adult, or mature adult. If you're doing some dumb shit, you gonna get that result. Don't be surprised when you get that result. It just only makes sense. My grandmother said to me the other day, she's like, these guys don't even know what kind of woman they want to deal with. When I was younger, they dealt with this type of woman. They looked for this in a woman. Not all dudes look for is big behinds. And I'm like, she got a point there. But I look a behind surprised when she give you the shit that comes with her because that's just what it is. So I come to an understanding where I just really check me. That's it. I just check for me. I concern myself with me. And now I'm more concerned about my circumstance with my family and the empire that we're building more than anything else. It's nothing personal. It's not even, really even that serious. It's just like you got to do what you got to do because you got to do it. And me, I got to do what I got to do because if I don't, it ain't gonna get done.
Who
Who's
else
gonna
is
do
gonna
it?
do it?
Exactly. So
I don't necessarily. I mean, I agree wholeheartedly with what he's saying, but I've never felt the need to articulate it in that fashion.
yeah,
You know, we take care of us. And we've been blessed when we've needed it that we've had people to come through. I would never ever give anyone the impression otherwise.
'cause we have had help.
We have
Plenty.
definitely had help, but some of our darkest moments together, we pulled ourselves out together. And
And
so,
people were onlookers.
yes, and
They were
so,
just like, oh well, let's see if they make it out of this.
yeah, like, and because of that, I don't take it as a negative fashion. I take that as something to be grateful for because we've been when I say I got his back, I got his back, and when he say he has my back, and I know that because we've been through enough to know, like, okay, well, I know if I'm put in this situation, I know who has my best interest at heart. You know what I mean? And not to say, we've not made mistakes along the way, but we definitely still, even mistakes and all, we have each other's back. So,
Part of my evolution is just the simple fact of that I now understand that I don't have to care for what other people are going through. It's not my responsibility. Um,
it's not
so
my business.
yeah, I'm really just chilling.
Not my
Like
business.
when it's things in my life aren't where I see them, but I couldn't imagine being what they are.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
They're not where I see them, but I couldn't imagine them being where they are. So with me having the amount of order and understanding and collectively being able to keep my composure in situations that typically I would have been like,
Mhm.
baby,
Mhm.
go check my stash because I might need you to come get me from jail. Now I'm just kind of like,
Ain't no point
man,
in all of that.
I'm putting my money away. I'm doing what I got to do. I'm
Yeah.
handling my business.
Yeah, it's not necessary for all
I'm
of that.
looking at things that I never saw myself looking at. I'm in association with people I never saw myself in association with.
Absolutely.
I'm I'm doing some things that I've always wanted to do, but never really knew how to how to put my first foot forward to make the first step. And now things I haven't even had to initiate have been moving at an accelerated pace. And I don't have to gloat. I don't have to boast. I don't have to, down talk nobody or look down at nobody. But really and truly, it's like it takes effort to get it together. And until I have it together, I'm just gonna keep worrying and focusing on me because even me focusing and trying to contribute to other people in a supporting fashion has been something that hasn't always been.
As openly accepted.
It's not only accepted but appreciated as well.
Well, that
So
comes with acceptance. But for
yeah,
me, my husband is the head of a household of eight. End of that discussion. My husband is the head of a household of eight. He's number one in the household size of eight.
might not be the first one woke, but I'm the last one to go to bed. And a lot of situations we just gotta handle it. Like either way it goes, when it comes, it comes. And I prepare my oldest son. I put him in charge. When I'm not here, to be done, different situations, communicating with him about how he expresses himself, about how he conducts himself, about, how he carries himself, everything from clothing and attire to what it is that he allows to bother him when it comes down to somebody saying something or being passerby or people he done had a conflict with. It doesn't really matter. You're still just trying to groom him to be able to, you know, mold his own empire one day.
Exactly. I think it's important for people to understand, and one of the things that I'm so grateful that my husband came into my life understanding is that these children will not be children forever. And we've always wanted them to enjoy their childhood, but it's about raising good, moral people for them to understand that life is,
Thinkers,
yeah, life is so much
especially
more.
boys that are not emotionally driven to become bitch ass niggas.
I mean, I feel like it's just as important both ways. I feel like our young men need to be aware of how to think and how to handle themselves
And
the
our young ladies,
same way those young ladies need to do the same
no
thing.
doubt.
They have to be able to think. They have to be able to handle themselves in any given situation because
But
you can't be prepared for what life will throw at you.
the
And
war is against us. They want us because if you kill the head, the body's dead. So if you take the man, especially if you emasculate him, or if you make him unnecessary, then there's no need. Then you have the feminine male. Then you have the woman that's the dominant. Or you know what I'm saying? As if y'all ain't stubborn and hard headed enough.
well, again,
You taught not to need a man. So
it's important to make sure that both our young men and our young women understand that. I'll be very, very transparent in this moment and say that, yeah, I actually was taught, ingrained, that I did not need a man. Anything that I needed to do, I could do on my own. And it wasn't just the words that were said, but it was the implication of the life that I lived. Did everything, even though my dad was my world.
I mean, when it comes down to it, I just had to come up, and I mean, she did what she had to do. That's all she did. I mean, like she funded everything, and she was committed to her job, which she retired from gratefully, and she's feeling about herself. But like when it comes down to, I just got a dad. Like my father, like gratefully, my father has just become the fixture that he is in my life. And I don't regret that. I appreciate that every single day. I talk to him every single day.
I think that's
I
an amazing moment,
share,
though.
yeah, I share as much as I can with him because I understand now we have a respect, a mutual respect for each
Amongst
other
each other, yeah.
that I'm on his team just as much as he's on my team.
And it's important though. I shared with my husband before my dad passed that I was able to watch him grow up.
Oh yeah, like that's a big thing. Like that's what me and my pops like right now. Like we literally just had like the most wonderful time that I will always remember for the rest of my life. Where you know what I'm saying? We just kind of like took time out. We went, we hung out, we went skiing, we went to the skating rink, we went to the roller rink. We literally we went out to eat. We just hung out. We sat down. I cooked some gator tail for them.
And it wasn't even a lot of time though.
No, but it was just enough to kind of like decompress, to process everything, and to really like see value in each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't raised in a household with a father figure. I was raised with any male figures around at all. But pops right now, where he's here at such a pivotal time in my life that it's like, whoa.
It's an amazing thing even for me to watch because I know where their relationship was when we got together. And even throughout the course of our relationship, but to see it now to be at such a great place. But I will continue to feed my husband and tell him that your parents are people and we have to be understanding of that. This is my opinion, so you take that how you like, but this generation of parents are those parents who are more conscious of being people to other people, which are their children. Being understanding that they have emotions and that they feel and that they stress and that they care. and that they need to be taught to understand in the home so they don't run out in the streets or run to the arms of another person to try to gain an understanding that they cannot get at home. So we communicate with our children in a fashion. We communicate with our children in a fashion that helps them to dissect the things that are potentially above them or beyond their maturity level at this time, but it helps them to think as mature individuals. It helps them to think about things and really understand that life is chess, not checkers, and understand helps them to understand that they have to think several moves ahead
Ahead.
and several steps ahead, and
Right.
that is so important to learn at such a young age. And so heavy lies ahead that wears the crown, but we understand it's important for us to give them that knowledge because it took trial and error for us to understand that. And they're still going to go through trial and error. They're still going to mess up, but they have a better fighting chance because at least they understand what it takes to be able to get to the end goal that they would like.
Gotta raise them to think. Um, I challenge my boys constantly, and I give them the option to make their own decisions. I don't make any decisions for them. I don't tell them you better not do this or you better not do that. I ask them why. Why you feel like that's what you want to do? Why you feel like that's what you're gonna do? Why you feel like that's worth it? Because if you can't give me validity, then that means it's stupidity. You know what I'm saying? If you can't like make it make sense, it ain't gonna help you. It's only gonna hurt you. And if you can't help a situation, you're only gonna hurt a situation. So these are like things that I've learned throughout my life, learned through messing up, learned through, getting past the rough edges, getting beyond, you know, the person that I used to be to molding myself and cultivating myself to become the man that I am now on the journey that I'm on. I gotta make sure that they straight. I gotta make sure that they on they square because it's important. You know what I mean? These shorties lost, man. These kids are lost. I'm looking at young boys, 14, 15, 16, and all they trying to do is get high. And it's like you got 4 years, 3 years before that same little cat, you know what I'm saying, will potentially be corner store Joe, where he gonna be like, hey bro, what's good? Hey, you can get me a wrap. Hey bro, what's good? Hey, you got some change? And I'm saying like, yeah, I got some change. I'm going to work. You gonna get your ass up and go to work? Like you able bodied. I see people that's, you know, got ailments. You know what I'm saying? Pre-existing conditions, amputees. They at work. They making it happen. And then I'm looking at a young cat, younger than me, who potentially came from a situation that he turned from sugar to shit, and he's
Mm-hmm.
standing at the corner store asking for change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We live in a we live in a decent neighborhood. We don't hardly even hear sirens over here.
Mm-hmm.
But these young shorties running around like they gang members. And then they down the street following some niggas that's supposed to be gang members. And it's like
Well, why?
my main objective is my kids don't become victims. And I was a victim. I was a victim because I wanted something so bad, not understanding and not necessarily suffering from loss, but the loss, not physically being there. The lack
Still,
of them
still,
not being
yeah,
there,
still being a void nonetheless to you at an adolescent age.
it caused me to be someone that I was necessarily not. I was never intended to be. And that pretendo shit, you feel me? When I wish I would have been playing Nintendo, would have changed my life. And now I had to go through all of those things in those different phases so that I could be the man to try to show my shorties and my daughters, you know what I mean? Like this is how you got to conduct yourself and to make them be able to think. Like we don't even school is not even the same way. We're not structuring our children to use their head to really like tap into their thought process, their thought patterns, and process these things to be people that dissect circumstances and see the negative, the positive, and weigh the pros and cons. You know what I'm saying? I know they
Absolutely.
teach it, but it has to be illustrated also because if you just whoop a kid, you just beat them. But they don't understand why.
Yeah. it takes a lot more than that. And this was just kind of like us, stopping in and sharing kind of where we are and what we gained just in the last couple of months. We've continued to learn a lot about us as people, as parents, as husband and wife. And we learned a lot even about our kids. My son just kind of popped up one day and was like, "Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do," and now he's like doing it. And
At the gate,
it wasn't even maybe
full,
a
full
week.
speed ahead.
It wasn't even a week from
Full speed
the
ahead.
minute that he said he had this idea. And so it's amazing to see how things can change. But we're gonna continue to use our mouths to cultivate our existence, and hopefully you guys can be a part of that. And maybe we'll share some things with you that you wouldn't mind applying in your household in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Doesn't make us any mind, and if not, that's cool too. We still appreciate you stopping by. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Namaste.
Peace and blessings to each and every one of you guys. It's been an absolute wonderful time, as it usually is. We'll see you guys again sometime soon. And until next time,
Peace.
again, y'all.
Hot bad.